Hi, I'm Moritz from Black Forest Motion, and this video is about the Multi-Lapse function in the Pro mode. If you are in the video section, the function is called Multi-Move, while in the Time-Lapse section it is called Multi-Lapse. We will take a look at the differences between the two in a moment. As soon as you activate the Multi-Move or Multi-Lapse function in the toolbox bar, 10 tabs appear on the right-hand side of the screen. Each tab has its own motion sequence and can be filled with any number of keyframes. Saved keyframe presets can also be loaded directly into the tabs. Keyframes can also be copied between tabs. Just use the copy and paste buttons in the small drop-down menu. More about this in a moment. Tabs must be filled in order. That means if you want to fill, for example, tab 2 with keyframes, you have to fill tab 1 first. Within the video area, the tabs offer the option to program several different motion sequences and then play them back as needed. The function here is similar to a keyframe preset. However, the tabs allow you to work faster and more efficiently when different movements are needed on set. When you start recording, the currently selected tab is always played. When you start recording, the currently selected tab is played. In time-lapse mode, the tabs work a little bit different. If you start the recording, you have the choice whether only the currently selected tab should be played as time-lapse or whether all filled tabs should be played as multi-lapse. If you only play the selected tab, the result is the same as a regular time-lapse, as I showed you in the previous video. In a multi-lapse, all filled tabs are executed in parallel. The sequence starts at frame 1 of tab 1, and then all motors move to frame 1 of tab 2, then to frame 1 of tab 3, etc. If the first frame of all tabs was recorded, the second frames of each tab are started. In this way, several time-lapse sequences can be recorded at once. You program the move once, then press play, and at the end you have recorded not only one, but several time-lapses. This way you can use the time on location more efficiently by recording several time-lapses with different motion sequences at the same location in the same period of time. Another use case is the recording of a panorama time-lapse. I would like to illustrate this with a short example. The goal is to record 3 time-lapses with multi-lapse at the same time. The slider movement should be the same for all time-lapses, but each time-lapse has a different pan movement, which is offset by a few degrees. This allows us to combine all 3 images for each frame to be a panorama at the end. We start by programming the movement for slider and pan. We set 2 keyframes per motor here. After that, we copy the keyframes of tab 1 to tab 2. For the second time-lapse, we want to shift the pan movement by 20 degrees each to get our second panorama image. To do this, we edit the 2 keyframes of the pan axis by double tapping on the respective keyframe square and manually entering the new values. Now we copy the keyframes from tab 2 to tab 3. Again, we move the pan by another 20 degrees. We now have 3 motion sequences where the slider motion is identical and the pan is offset by 20 degrees each. If we now start the sequence, we see how 3 images with different pan positions are taken at each slider position. After the recording is done, the 3 time lapses can now be combined into a panoramic time lapse.